All right, back with another edition of the A Better NFL Top 100. Again, bit of tongue-in-cheek, A Better NFL 100. I don't know if it's actually better, but it's better for me because it's my list, right? So yeah, hopefully you find it better than that one. Either way, it's a fun exercise. So not taking positional value into account. If you want more of an explanation on exactly my criteria for this stuff, I explained it in the first video, but yeah. Let's just get into it, starting off with number 60. We're doing 60 through 51 in this video. 60, I went with Brandon Aiyuk, who, as of recording this video, was on the 49ers. Maybe that has changed since, afterwards. But for now, Brandon Aiyuk is a member of the 49ers and a very good one, as I really feel like he is their best receiver. I know that like Deebo Samuel kind of gets a lot of credit and gets a lot of attention, but certainly last year, Brandon Aiyuk was their guy. And if they needed a big play, like if they need someone who can win one-on-one on the outside especially, like Aiyuk's kind of the one guy who they really trust to do that. Obviously, they have a lot of guys they trust to work over the middle, including Brandon Aiyuk, but I really think that there's a real underrated aspect of his game. Sure, being in the Shanahan scheme helps him. There's no denying that. But, I think he'd be great in any scheme. So, he's number 60 on the list. 59, we're going Bobby Wagner, the Washington Commander. That's going to feel weird to see him there, just like it felt weird to see him with the Rams. Obviously, longtime Seattle Seahawk, who has, in a sense, played for now 4 different teams in 4 years, because he's going to play with the Commanders, Seahawks, Rams, and then Seahawks again. So if you count that as 3 different teams, but changing teams every year for the past 4 seasons now. But is still playing at a really high level. I still think it will be really good for them. I'm kind of surprised a contending team didn't go out and pay him more money. I guess part of it is just teams don't value the linebacker position as much anymore. But yeah, still playing at a really high level. So he's on the list at 59. 58 is CeeDee Lamb, who is coming off of just an unreal season last year. I believe he had 1,700 yards at the wide receiver position. Was dominant, quite frankly. And this is the first year I feel like he really got to this level, which is part of why I don't have him higher, because while he's consistently been really good and gotten better year after year, I do think we saw a pretty big jump this past year. And I guess my question is that who you are, or is that just this was your career year? We'll see. I mean, if he can do it again next year, he's going to be way higher than 58 on the list. He was really good. So, yeah, that's why I have him here. Number 57, I'm going Khalil Mack, a guy who, for the Chargers has kind of still consistently been really good for them. And it's, when the Chargers traded for Khalil Mack, it was a move that was widely, a lot of people loved that move by the Chargers. I was cooler on it because I felt like, okay, you're paying this guy $20 million a year. He is getting up there in age. Sure, you can get rid of the contract whenever you want, but giving up a second-round pick to do it, I wasn't super anti-it. I just wasn't as high on it as other people were. But the Chargers have had a lot of things go wrong around that decision. That decision itself has actually been one of the bright spots, I would say. He's really lived up to the hype. And even if his box score numbers maybe are a little bit misleading, he's still been really good. Even the underlying numbers are very good. So, yeah, he's on the list at 57. 56, I went A.J. Brown, the wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles, who, I mean, if you want to see how much he means to that team, watch that playoff game against Tampa Bay when they just could not get anything going offensively. He was out of the game, of course. He got injured in what ended up being a pretty meaningless game against the Giants the week prior. Definitely they would have liked to have him, as that could have made a difference. But A.J. Brown, similar to what I talked about Mike Evans in the last video, of a guy you have to have a safety over top of A.J. Brown or you're giving up a big play. You just are. And I think Brown does a lot of really good stuff over the middle as well and can win even if there is a safety over the top. So because of that, kind of the one knock is he does struggle to stay healthy. That's a real thing. 2 years ago was kind of the 1 year that he was healthy for the whole year. That's the issue. But, even if he misses a few games, he's still very much worth a spot on this list. 55 is Tyler Linderbaum, the center for the Baltimore Ravens, a guy who, I remember when he was getting drafted, it felt like everyone was like, oh yeah, great player, he's going to be awesome, but he's 25th on my board because he's a center. And I'm kind of just centers are valuable, man. Look at the Ravens and look at how much he matters with them. They certainly are happy with that pick. He does a lot of really good stuff for them, and I definitely think it's worth a spot on the list. 54, I am going Josh Allen. No, not that Josh Allen, the other Josh Allen, the Jacksonville Jaguars edge rusher. It's crazy how there's two really good players with the same name in the NFL. But yeah, defensive end Josh Allen is a really effective player for them. And I do think that the Jaguars have sometimes struggled to, not just sometimes, they've really struggled to get consistent pressure around Josh Allen. He's certainly the guy who is, on the group project doing all the work a lot of times for the Jaguars, but he does a lot of work. They still get like a B+ for when he's, because of what he himself is bringing to the table. And I do wonder that if we see a leap from Trayvon Walker, could we potentially see more success from Josh Allen? I think it's possible. So, again, I think it's interesting. They did also add Eric Armstead, who could rush the passer from the inside. So who knows? Maybe he could have a career year, but even if not, he is still a player that, I don't know, I think it's crazy how many good players there are in the NFL. We're starting to get to the guys where I'm like, I could see you winning Defensive Player of the Year, and you're at 54. There's so many good players, but yeah, he's one of them. Number 53 is the Buffalo Bills linebacker, off-ball linebacker, Matt Milano, who at his best has been the best linebacker in football, or probably not the best, probably not better than Fred Warner, but second best, I would say. And last year was so valuable for them before going down with the injury. It's just the injury thing is what docks him. That's why he's lower. That's the only reason. I do have to pay attention to that stuff. But the upside is still so good that you have to have him high on the list. You have to have him nearly a top 50 player because of what he can bring to the table. So good in coverage that he's here at 53. 52 is AIDAN Hutchinson, a guy who the box score numbers aren't quite there yet, and that's kind of why I think that some people might say this is too high for him, but I disagree. I think that, again, for one thing, similar to what I said of Josh Allen, you look at the situation. When you're playing against the Lions, you're like, we got to stop that guy from rushing the passer. That's our strategy, and at least for Josh Allen, he had a good coverage unit last year that could kind of help him out. The Lions did not have that at all, so Hutchinson had to get there super quickly if he was going to get sacks and pressures. Still racked up a decent amount and has great underlying numbers. I do think that with a better situation that he will be in this next year, could we see a leap from him in terms of box score numbers? I think we will. So yeah, he's 52 for me. 51 is Trent McDuffie, who was a Super Bowl hero for the Kansas City Chiefs. He was one of the guys who you were considering for Super Bowl MVP, although it wasn't much consideration. Mahomes was going to win it. But McDuffie was really good in that Super Bowl, really good in that playoff run, really good last season. He won All-Pro at the slot corner position. So definitely someone that, well, a lot of people will say, slot corner, how much do you value him? He's really valuable. The Chiefs really value him, and he's a big part of why they've won a Super Bowl every year he's been there. Both years he's been there, they've won a Super Bowl, and there's a very good chance they win another. So, yeah, that is 60 through 50. Join me on the next edition. I do this every day at 2 Eastern unless there's a podcast, so be on the lookout for the top 50 coming up soon. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.